Johnny Dano and Mike Beer taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Thursday, November the 21st. It's race number 5 at Woodbine. Let's throw up the field. Bunch of 2-year-olds trying a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta. It's a maiden optional claiming race. Some of these entered for the $40,000 claiming option. 9 in here. Several of these trying 2 turns for the first time, Mike, and it's a testing distance for a young horse.
It is. It's the key to the race in a lot of ways, Dan. Who's going to stretch out effectively here? A couple of them have tried it already. Most of them are stretching out for the first time. I just thought it was a really interesting race. 2-year-olds around 2 turns here late in the year. It makes it very interesting.
Pace could also be a major part in determining the winner, so we're glad to have the Timeform US Pace projector. The number 6, Good King Sam, is one of the 2-year-olds stretching out around 2 turns for the first time, and this guy was part of a very fast pace, going 7/8 of a mile last time, probably too fast. If he can relax a little bit more in the early stages, he's likely to make the front.
You would think he'll come out running here and try to use his speed, but I thought there were some other horses in here who were going to show speed over this longer distance, Dan. Especially there are a couple of horses down toward the inside who just didn't get aggressive rides in their most recent starts. I think it really cost a couple of them. I think you might see some horses get more aggressive here.
And there's a chance this pace could get hot. That would help the 3, Royal Entry, who has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating and has valuable experience already around 2 turns. Lasting Silence, the 1, figures to be pretty aggressive this time around, breaking from the inside post and trying 2 turns for the first time. This horse was a pace setter 3 starts back, going 3/4, so we know he has the speed to get there. And he's coming out of a key race. Last time out, he faced the runner-up, who would come back to graduate at this level with a 65 buyer. Solid performer.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they ride him this time. I do think he's one of the horses that maybe you'll see show a little bit more speed this time. I'll say this about his most recent start. I didn't love the position that he was in up the backstretch. I mean, he was a huge price in there. They just didn't go. He was sort of in and among horses on the outside. After that, I thought that trip really worked out for him. He was in a good spot around the turn. He had a look at that thing through the stretch, and I did not like the way he was finishing in there. And it makes me wonder if more distance is what this horse really wants.
Sugar Buzz is the number 2. I thought this horse ran pretty well on turf 2 starts back. Got an inside-out closer's trip, was running on to finish second. Last time out on synthetic, maybe if you want to excuse it, you could say he was wide for most of the way. He broke from post 12, probably had a 3-wide trip all the way around, but he just didn't look as comfortable in the stretch on the synth as he did on the turf. He didn't change leads. It was a good field. The 4th place finisher came back to win a special weight with a 69 buyer, but just watching the turf race and the synthetic race, well, I think he's a major contender here. I do wonder if he's going to be more effective on turf down the road.
I think that's a very fair way to look at him, especially when you consider, I mean, it feels like there's just a real chance that he gets bet off the turf race 2 starts back. And that's like the last thing that you want with a horse like him. I do think he's a major player in here. I would just say, and maybe he is just better on turf, but when you're breaking from post 12 in a 2-turn race, you can't ride the horse the way that he was ridden last time. You have to make a decision going to that first turn. You either got to go or you got to take back. And his rider did neither. And this horse just got stuck on the outside. He was wide all the way up the backstretch as his riders asked him to make a move. He's passing horses. He's chasing all the way around the final turn 3 wide. Hard to believe he got tired in there again. I thought he had a really, really tough trip.
And it's not like he was chasing a fast pace either. They're going 51 basically to the half, and he's trying to make up ground while wide. That is never an easy trip. Royal Entry is the number 3, and considering his pedigree, you would think that 2 turns is his MO, and they sprinted him in his debut. He didn't run very well. He improved with blinkers last time out. He saved ground near the back, shot the gap turning into the stretch. What I liked about it was that he was over and behind horses a little bit at about the 3/16, but still finished with some interest. There's something here, and I think we haven't even reached his level of potential just yet.
I agree with that. He's the best bred horse in the race. He probably needed the sprint debut. He's not really bred to be a sprinter anyway. And then he's another horse. I just didn't really like the trip that he pulled last time at all. First time on the stretch out and with blinkers on, you would, at least it would seem logical that maybe they'd use his speed a little bit. They rated the break with him, took him back to last. He's over behind horses, couldn't get any position in the race. He loses position all the way around the final turn, and he's still last as they come into the stretch. After that, things worked out for him. But I just thought he was in a bad position for most of that trip, and I don't think he ran as poorly as it looks, and I think he could really improve here.
Lenny's Gamble took money for his first 3 starts, hit the board in his first 2. Last time I didn't get as forwardly placed, probably because he was bumped a little bit leaving the start. I just wonder if that field was a little bit tougher. I mean, he just shows up at 37-1 that day, and he got caught with a red-hot pace, and he just seemed like he was outrun early. Considering that he did okay in his first 3 starts, I'm willing to give him another try. This is a very good trainer.
Yeah, agreed. It's a very good train. I wonder how effective this horse will be stretching out. That was my main concern with him. I don't hate his last race, Dan, because I don't love the position that he was in, and he was just sort of racing on through the stretch. I mean, he did pass some horses, but everybody was sort of making the same run that he was making in there. I don't know. I found him tough to evaluate. It's pretty clear that he has to improve if he's going to win here.
Reggie Boy stretches out for the first time after 2 dull sprint tries. I guess he's bred for it. Shaman Ghost really wanted to run all day long, but Reggie Boy just hasn't done anything just yet. The winner of his last race at least came back to place in his first start against winners, and now winners a 2-life allowance with a 69 buyer.
Yeah, we'll see if he can just do a little bit better. Obviously, he hasn't really done anything in his first 2 starts so far, so they're going to try to stretch him out with enough pedigree to do that. This field, to me, just sort of started getting weaker the further you got towards the outside post positions here, Dan, and it starts with this horse who just so far, there's really not that much to hang on to.
Good King Sam is the expected pace setter, according to Timeform US. He made his career debut in Western Canada at Assiniboia Downs, going 5.5 furlongs, and he passed some horses in the stretch to finish 3rd at a big trice. They tried the Tapeta last time out. He went fast on the lead. He also tired very badly. I still think there are some class concerns, blinkers off.
Yeah, I'm worried about just how good he is anyway. I can understand wanting to be a little lenient on him for his most recent start, for getting hooked up on a fast pace and then paying the price pretty badly in there. He does have a pedigree that suggests he should be able to get this far. So maybe he just works out a little bit of a better trip here at a price.
If you're looking for a stranger at a price, maybe the 7 Baytown Shinjuku is for you. Trying synthetic for the first time. This horse is based at Turfway Park over the all-weather, where he's recorded a couple of bullet workouts in his career. Here's his most recent start. It's just last week at Charlestown, and he just got outrun in a race, a 2-turn sprint where he was wired. He makes up a little bit of late ground. It was a promising enough performance in his first start off a 3-month layoff. The race was just slow. What you're looking for is improvement on the synth.
Yeah, I usually don't like horses switching from dirt to synthetic. But you know what? This horse stinks on dirt. So maybe he'll just be better on the all-weather surface, Dan. I wouldn't bet him off of what he's done so far. We'll see if he's a different horse on this surface.
It's in the Cards was dismissed at a big price in his career debut, and it certainly wasn't in the cards because he didn't break well and he stayed at the back of the pack throughout. It was a fast-paced race. He's going to have to do a lot more stretching out. He does at least have a middle-distance pedigree.
No, it just didn't really show anything in the career debut, so it's hard to really get behind him. And it's not like he, took money in there and they expected him to run well and he didn't. He was a big price. He showed up with nothing. We'll see if he stretches out effectively.
I'm an Island Boy did stretch out last time out. He showed a little bit more tactical speed as was expected. He was able to save a little bit of ground, but turning into the stretch, he just hung on his left lead, and he just didn't finish as well as Royal Entry, who I think ran better than he did.
Yeah, me too. That's how I looked at it too. I mean, I thought overall this horse had a pretty good trip in that race, Dan. He just didn't run that well, and I'd rather have Royal Entry out of that race.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time, race 5, Woodbine, 2-year-old maidens. You're going with Royal Entry. He's got all the upside. He's got the fastest Timeform US late pace rating, and I think he'll get a fair pace to attack this time. And I have a feeling he doesn't have to be so far back.
That's how I look at him too. I think he's going to get a different trip here. I did not like the trip he pulled last time. I think there could be a different one coming here. I want to try him in this race. I thought in some way Sugar Buzz was the horse to beat. Yeah. I was just worried he was going to get bet off the turf race.
Yeah, I think the 1 and the 2 are probably the horses to beat, at least on a speed figure standpoint. I kind of like Lasting Silence from breaking from the rail to get good forward position. Either make the lead or stalk the horse that started his career out in Western Canada, and maybe you get a chance to take things over at the 5/16 pole and play Catch Me If You Can. 1, 2, 4, 3 for me, 3, 2, 4, 1 for Mike. Thursday race of the day, the 5th at Woodbine. Best of luck.
Hey, buddy. Let me tell you something. If you really enjoyed this great content, just click the like and subscribe button right here. And if you enjoy the race of the day, stakes previews and lots more starring me, please click right here. You're not gonna regret it.